Love thy neighbor is a great thought, but compete with thy neighbor is what Nepal will want to tell themselves. They are playing against the glamour team, the powerhouses of world cricket in different ways. Of course, it's India versus Nepal at the Palikele International Stadium. It is a magic Monday at the Asia Cup, and so if you are in office, very quietly, discreetly watching Cricbuzz live on your mobile phone, well done. Give yourself a pat on the back. You are a true blue cricket fan. Two true blue experts on the show once again, Dinesh Karthik and Joy Bhattacharya. Dinesh Karthik has enough reasons to get nostalgic this afternoon, isn't it?
Yeah, so my first ever opportunity to wear Indian whites was for the under-19 team many years ago in 2002. And our first trip was to Nepal. So
wow.
I always have fond memories of that tour. Young set of boys had gone and it was a lovely tour, very short trip. We had 3 matches we played against them, and it is good to see Nepal today playing for the first time against the national Indian team.
Wow. If there are 2 kinds of cricket fans, Joy, there is an Indian cricket fan and then there's a cricket fan from India. If you're a true cricket fan from India, you'd be as keen to see what Nepal do on this big stage.
No, absolutely. And what's happened in the last 10, 15, 20 years is the emergence. Bangladesh has emerged. I mean, I'm old enough to say I've seen Sri Lanka become test cricket players, then Bangladesh become test cricket players. And of course, after that, you've seen Afghanistan emerge. Now Nepal, this is exciting. And I think one thing that has happened, to be honest, Manish, is because of T20 cricket and the amount of cricket that's being played in leagues, you're seeing players emerge from everywhere. And that's part of the reason why Afghanistan's progress has been fast-tracked. Let's hope that Nepal also, that interest, because if there's interest in cricket, the national team will always benefit because players will be playing here, there, everywhere, and that makes a difference.
India have won the toss and the rain gods have decided to arrive, unfortunately. However, we do hope that we do get a full game. India bowling first. No Jasprit Bumrah. He's away on daddy duties. Congratulations, Mr. Bumrah, on the arrival of young Angad in your family. You're a father. You know a thing or two about what this moment means.
All of us here, obviously, being a dad is a special feeling. And Bumrah can try and get very good at bowling Yorkers, but changing nappies is a different ball game altogether. I can tell him that.
Different kind of pressure, isn't it?
Yeah, there's one skill that both of us share because both of us were the parents of twins, fathers of twins. And twins are very special because twins are like a partnership at night. So, you quietly put one guy to sleep and just when that's gone off to sleep, the other guy starts screaming, both of them get up. So, their partnership is what gives you more trouble. So, DK has faced many partnership, I have so, but fortunately mine are long in the past. I think Karthik is just entering his...
When I was entering Nepal was when Joy had his twins, so
exactly.
You can imagine
exactly.
how old that must have been.
Thank God Mr. Bogle isn't here because then we'd get into this whole age, senior, junior conversation. India have opted to bowl first, no Jasprit Bumrah. We will get you a look at the playing 11. Rohit Paudel, Nepal's captain, has said this is the biggest day of his life.
We were speaking about it yesterday as to how special it must be for the Nepal players. First time playing against India, they must have watched a lot of cricket where India has obviously competed at the world stage and done a great job at that. And I'm sure they have a lot of fans there. Virat Kohli, Jasprit Bumrah, Rohit Sharma, Hardik Pandya, all of them I'm sure are admired in the team. But I think Monty Desai, just like Joy said, would love them to play the sport in the most competitive manner today and hold on to the autographs and photographs post the match.
It's okay to admire your opponent, but as Harsha often says, you can't be in awe of them when you take the field.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that difference is a very interesting difference, that you can be really strong, you can fight on the field. After that, you can become the fanboy later. Okay. Yep. But it's a very interesting thing how people do it also. And I've seen it happen even in a KKR match against a Pakistan team during the Champions Trophy at one time, where they'll come and say, can I take a picture for my family? Obviously it's not just for your family, it's for yourself as well. And these things make a difference. But that's it, at that point in time, this morning they have to just completely have blinkered vision, play out there, compete, and then see what happens. Having said that, I'm just surprised by one thing, that India winning the toss and going to bowl is something I find a bit intriguing. What do you think?
In an ideal world, they should have batted first, but I have a feeling they've done this because they want to get a result out of it. Even if I'd be short, they might want to get a result out of it. yes, if they bat first, the chances of all the batters getting an opportunity much higher. If India bowl well, I think we might not be chasing a tall target, which obviously in turn doesn't allow all the batters to get an opportunity. But in a way, you got to appreciate the mindset. I think they're here to win and they want to make a statement saying, you know what, it's a Nepal game, but we're just looking at it as another match that we want to win.
Yes, this is the way the format is. India shed the spoils after that game that was called off because of rain against Pakistan. So 1 point each. And so the way things stand at this point for both teams is if India win, they go through. If there is no game, India go through. Nepal have to win and win big. And it does look like India obviously start as favourites. Just a quick confirmation of where things stand. It's pretty simple, isn't it, Joy? For anyone who may not even be good at maths, it's just the scenario is very simple.
Absolutely. And the other interesting thing or good thing about it is, and that's probably one of the things that India will be looking at, is no points are carried over. So once you enter the Super 4, those 4 teams, all of them play each other, and then whoever the top 2 teams emerge. But no points are carried over. So India's not particularly, if this match is rained out, it's okay. It's not going to harm India very much if Pakistan end up as the top of the league.
India 11, no Jasprit Bumrah, and that means Mohammad Shami is back in the mix. It was an expected move, isn't it? Because on this particular wicket, Pacers have been more successful, and you want to give Shami game time, more importantly.
It's a pretty straightforward choice, and I think they've made the right choice here. Mohammad Shami is a key part, again, of India's bowling attack. We constantly keep speaking of their combination, and we're always trying to find out if they can fit in a Siraj Shami and a Bumrah. Looks like it might be hard moving into the World Cup at this stage, but if they can find a way to fit them in, then that will be India's most potent attack.
You know, on Cricbuzz Plus, which is a premium service, and if you haven't signed up already, please make sure you do. On Cricbuzz Plus, we've done a series of episodes called show called Rise of New India, where this whole Virat Kohli impact on India's fast bowling generation was spoken about. And these numbers that will come up on this graphic in just a bit will tell you how India's fast bowling has been such a huge plus, especially in white ball cricket with the likes of Shami and Siraj leading the pack. Look at that, combined fast bowling for India since 2021. These are terrific numbers.
Absolutely, outstanding numbers. 5.46 is an economy rate. Okay, it's something that you look at, but 205 wickets. You see that 42 matches, 205 wickets. Assume a lot of these matches are not, innings would not be completed. Even assuming that, you're taking almost 5 wickets a match is coming from just the fast bowlers. And that's something incredible. In fact, I feel that their impact has been even higher in red ball cricket because India is consistently winning matches abroad. They've never managed to win them so consistently. It's just because of the addition of fast bowlers. We've always had great batting sides, but we've not had the bowling to take 20 wickets in an innings outside the subcontinent. And that is something that you have now. Look, the funny thing about it is, sometimes it happens to all of us that when sometimes, unlike Tendulkar is an example that you shouldn't take, sometimes when you're in the presence of greatness or greatness is there in front of you, you don't really realize it. But I can tell you, if you look at data, okay, this fast bowling attack, Bumrah, Shami, Siraj, Umesh, whatever they've done, Ashwin, and Jadeja, this is probably the most potent bowling attack in the history of Indian cricket. You look at it, look at the pure numbers, and you'll realize the number of test matches they've won for us, the number of wickets they've taken for us. We are in a golden generation of Indian bowling, and we don't always appreciate or acknowledge it in front of us. It's there right in front of our eyes, but we say, oh no, we can't play him. These are greats. These are all-time greats, I can tell you.
On that program, DK, Rise of New India, you used the word torture for Mohammad Shami. Elaborate a little bit more on that, please.
In my time of playing in the nets, which happens a lot in the start, in the prelude to a game, I have always found Mohammad Shami the toughest bowler to face. He has a nasty length which can injure you. He moves the ball both ways, and to top it all off, he hits the seam so consistently. And I actually always thought maybe I am the one who is very poor with my batting skills and I'm struggling. And then I spoke to Rohit and I spoke to Virat, and all of them feel Mohammad Shami is probably the toughest bowler that they have faced in the nets. And he always bowls at full tilt. He is not somebody who will come and just jog in 4-5 steps and bowl. He bowls at full tilt, and he is a handful to deal with.
With or without biryani?
Look, you can say what you want about him. After a long and rigorous IPL where they went on to reach the final, there was a World Test Championship final which I was lucky to have been a part of the commentary group, and I watched him very close. him and Siraj were easily the two fittest bowlers among both teams put together. They bowl long spells, they bowl it at the same pace. So you can say what you want about Shami and his eating habits, but he has bowling fitness like no one else has.
If he can bowl like this, please feed him biryani 3 times a day from whichever part of the country he wants. These are his numbers. And the header says it all. Sensational, Shami. Joy, you know the human interest side of Shami. What a fascinating story it is.
Absolutely amazing story. And in fact, what I love about him, and in fact, I've written about it in a book recently. So, Shami and Swami Vivekananda have played for the same club in Calcutta, Town Club. Okay, they played for the same club. He came from a small club, but he was so good that he immediately broke. Obviously, he's from Moradabad, but league cricket is, Kolkata league cricket is very big. I mean, I think Chennai and Kolkata and Bombay are the three places where you can play cricket consistently in that season. And he came to Kolkata, made his way out there. The funniest thing was, for a year and a half, he played for Bengal, and they had his name down as Shami Ahmed because somebody had just written it down. And I remember asking him, and I said, "What's your name?" He said, "My name is Mohammed Shami." I said, "Why do they have you as Shami Ahmed?" So he said, "No, somebody just wrote it down, and now they say they can't change it." And fortunately, KKR that way is very supportive of his players, so we made enough of a fuss, and his name became Mohammed Shami again. But the point of it is, he is what they call game fit. He gets his fitness from bowling.
Yeah.
He doesn't do other things to get fit for bowling. He bowls to get fit for bowling. And this is something you'll ask Wasim also. And Wasim's probably in his heyday. There wasn't that much gym as there is now. Wasim is also bowling fit. He says, when I wanted to get fit, I just bowl and bowl and bowl. And I think Shami just exactly does the same. He doesn't like the gym because he doesn't understand that if I have to do a gym to get fit to bowl, why can't I just bowl to get fit? And that's what he does.
Rajat Bhatia, during the IPL, when we'd be watching, sitting in the lounge watching, he'd say, work the muscles that need to work on the field. There's no point going to the gym and, using huge weights. Just work the muscles that you need to use while you're playing. Is that something that's discussed a lot in player circles?
Science and technology have played a massive part in the game. And when it comes to fitness, it's always constantly evolving. Yes, there is this way of talk over a period of time, should they bowl more overs in the net so that they get bowling fit, but there's also a massive school of thought coming in saying that if you over bowl yourself, you tend to get a lot more injuries with the amount of cricket you're playing. So get fit, which means do a lot of running. When I say running, it's not long distance running, obviously the short sharp sprints, that is very true to the nature of what you'd be doing on the ground. You make sure you hit the gym to get completely fit and work on a lot of power. It's not about developing muscle, it's about developing power. And the exercises have been designed in such a way. So, we have to say that the consistency of matches that these boys play, they need to be really fit. And it doesn't always have to be only by bowling. There are also other ways where you can supplement what you're doing. And you need to mix both in the right amounts to get your body ready for a game.
Quick update from Pallekele. No rain for now. Now that augurs really well. Let's now take a look at the Nepal playing 11 for this game. The one change that our experts asked for has happened. Beam Sharkey comes in. Joy, this is what we were talking about last night as well.
Yeah, I think what they've tried to do is obviously they've tried to make their batter.
Arif is out.
Arif is out. Arif Sheikh is out. And I think what they've done is just get another batter in. I think somewhere Monty Desai wanted to go with 5 bowlers, get genuine bowlers and hope to take wickets. And to a certain extent, it worked. I mean, they got 4 wickets. It's just that they couldn't complete it after that. But I think this is a more stable unit, considering that India is also a very, very good bowling side. And I think they've just, Beam Sharkey has played a lot of matches. He's got a few 50s for them also recently. I think it's a good idea.
India will come hard at them. India couldn't bowl in that last game against Pakistan. So things are not going to get easier at all for the Nepal top order.
You have to expect that when you play a country like India or Pakistan, their bowling will be pretty hot for them to handle. Nepal is the good thing about Nepal is they've been to Zimbabwe, they've been to South Africa now, played the qualifier. So they kind of know what to expect in terms of fast bowling. When they've played West Indies and they competed against them, they would have played some really good bowlers. It's just that the awe at which they will be looking at India will be very different to what they would have when they played a Scotland or a West Indies for that matter. But the good part is they here have an opportunity to obviously showcase a lot of people back home in Nepal saying, hey, we've played a match against India, a dream for a lot of players. I know a lot of players who played under 19 with me wanted to play, hope that Nepal would get to play against India at a international level, and that's happening today after about 2 decades, and that will give them a lot of happiness and joy. And it's about competing. All they would be looking to do, just like we spoke about Bangladesh yesterday, would be about try and play those 50 overs. No matter whether you get 200, 220, doesn't matter. Try and bat those 50 overs. That will be a big challenge for them.
Our eagle-eyed producers at Cricbuzz have done some digging, and they found out that 14 players have been used by Nepal for number 1, 2 and 3. If this was a much bigger team, a full ICC member that's been playing cricket for 40 years, it would be a shocker. But for teams like these, is it a sign of the nucleus forming? They're figuring who to go with? Is that how we can interpret this
I think so. I'd be very interested in knowing that exactly when Monty took over, because I think they have, after he's come in, they've got a certain amount of stability. Obviously, Podel and Kushal Bhuttal are two of the guys that definitely have been there, have played a large part in this for a long, long time. But there have been others as well. But I think that's the thing. I think they've now come down in the last few matches. I think, what did they win? They won their last 7, 8, 12 encounters.
11 out of 12.
11 out of 12
and then the Premier Cup.
So 11 out of 12 encounters they've won means they've reached some sort of stability as far as their batting order is concerned. So I think if you look at it, I think it'd be better to look right now over the last 12-15 matches to see what they're doing.
Also, their pass score, then generally they used to score only around 200, 220, and hence you can see all the batting changes because they're trying out. After Monty has taken over, they've been not consistently, they have chased down scores of 271s, 281s, which is big for Nepal. You got to understand, with the amount of cricket they play, chasing 270, 280 is a massive total. Yesterday you saw Afghanistan try and chase down 330, but they fell short by a big margin. Even they are not ready to chase down such big totals. So it is a skill in itself to chase down big totals. So it's a work in play, or they are getting there slowly but steadily, but looks like they're slowly forming a good crux of their batting lineup that they would like to see.
There is hardly any video available, maybe very little. From what we saw in that first game against Pakistan of the Nepal batting, is it lack of skill or pedigree, or was it lack of application on that day against Pakistan?
Lack of skill. There is, you have to say, a sure shot lack of skill, because playing Haris Rauf, Shaheen Shah Afridi, even the likes of Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma found it hard in seaming pitches. I mean, Nepal would have seen nothing close to that. So it's obviously a lack of skill, and it will take a long time for it to develop. It's not going to be easy unless and until they play a lot more matches, play across the world, play a lot of friendly matches. Like Nepal has a good opportunity to go and play a Bombay or a Tamil Nadu or a Haryana, wherever. And if they get those opportunities, slowly but steadily their game will develop.
You know Monty Desai really well. Now he's become very popular. The team seems to respond to things that he says. Monty Desai, the right man for the job?
I think he's done a phenomenal job with Nepal. You got to understand, when he walked into those qualifiers, they were a long way out. They literally had no chance. From there to win 11 out of 12, to find a way to qualify, is earth-shattering in many ways. I think he's brought a lot of joy also to the players, because he's a very stable man, very calm, great demeanor. The best part about him is the warmth that you get when you speak to him. Doesn't panic at all. Knows what he wants to do, and always guides the young kids in the right manner. In the minimum time that I've spent with him, I've spent a year with Gujarat Lions when Heat Streak was around. We were all there together, and that's where my friendship developed with him as well. But then he went on to coach Andhra. He coached me in 2T Patriots in TNPL, and today I'm so happy to see him do so well with Nepal, because he is a coach, and we need good Indian coaches. I think IPL is a platform where I hope they get opportunities, because they're doing so well for associate nations and across the world in a lot of places. He obviously lives a lot of and spends a lot of his time in America. So he does a lot of coaching in various parts of the world, and he is a coach who should be sought after for what he's achieving.
Joy, from a man management point of view, does it help a little more to have someone who is not so high profile?
Definitely. See, high profile, I think it's two things. One is that, you don't want to be in awe of your coach. You want to respect your coach. Secondly is time. I mean, if he's giving them the time and he's giving the ability, a lot of coaches are drop-in and drop-out coaches who come in, spend very little time and go out. I think he's giving them enough time for them to really develop, and that's important for them at this point in time. And if you see Monty Desai belongs to that class of coaches. A lot of them, he's there in the IPL. I remember him in the start of the Rajasthan Royals in the first year when they did so well. A lot of those guys were there. Jumin Barocha, Monty Desai. They really helped with performance and finding the right kind of talent. So look at that. I mean, you look at this Afghanistan national team, UAE batting coach, and remember, Coaching associate countries is a different challenge altogether. Smaller, you're not getting players, you're going to get players who don't play, they have jobs and they play on Saturdays and Sundays. They're not full-time professional players. They have different needs. And to be able to look after them. So I'm glad he's done. Those are the kind of coaches, you need people like that who understand that philosophy as well. You can't tell, there are very many teams that you can't turn on and tell, okay, forget everything, just play cricket for the next 3 months, because they'll have jobs, they'll have families, they can often not afford to do it. And I think those are the challenges that somebody like a Monty Desai will understand more, given the kind of background that he has. But remember, coaching India, and in India, you have at least 10,000 people who live, breathe and eat only in the cricket ecosystem.
Yep.
That's something very few other countries have.
Good to see that there's a lot of curiosity and interest around these newer cricket nations, and we've got an Ask Cricbuzz live question on the same as well. Debaria Ghoshal asks, should the Asia Cup be expanded so that teams Hong Kong in 22 and Nepal now get to play more matches against quality opposition?
Time. Time is a constraint, isn't it? We are finding it hard to fit in an Asia Cup. Just before the World Cup, we're just cramming it in with the schedule available. To find a longer tournament is going to be a bit of a stretch.
Joy?
I mean...
Sorry.
By all means, Joy, please.
No, absolutely. I totally agree. I mean, otherwise, would you be playing the Asia Cup in the middle of a monsoon? You're playing it in the middle of the monsoon in Sri Lanka, where you know it rains all the time, because you have no other option. There's no other place that you could have put it. And that's the truth. I mean, let's put it this way. And Dinesh will tell you that if you look at that schedule, India, teams like England and South Africa want India a bit more. Can you give us 2 more matches? Can you give us 3 more matches? Forget other countries, because India is the economic hub of world cricket. So to be able to give, 7 more days playing, it's a lovely thought, but it's unrealistic. I think India A playing them, emerging nations playing them, that is also good, and they're going to get a very decent level of cricket. In fact, they got a very good match when they played against India in the emerging cup. I mean, they lost by 9 wickets, but they got an opportunity to play. Gulshan Jha got some runs. Some of the top order players got some runs. That is something that's realistic and can be hoped for. Expecting the senior India side to play them or play these countries that much is not going to happen.
The 23 ODI World Cup is a 10-team World Cup. I was reading somewhere that the next World Cup is a 14-team World Cup. In 4 years, do you see a lot of these teams raise their level to that extent that we'll get better matches?
I would hope so. They play a lot of associate matches amongst themselves, and hence they earn the right to be playing in that. A World Cup is a tournament where you want as many tournaments to compete. In Football World Cup, you see there's way many more
32
teams.
countries.
So, and they have a proper qualification process, just like in cricket. But in cricket, it ends up being 10 at times. Luckily, I think this T20 World Cup as well, there's a lot more teams. And when we go on to the 50-over World Cup, there's going to be a lot more teams. But you got to understand, cricket as a sport is in a very different place right now. There are 2-3 countries which are the key for the ecosystem of cricket around which every other country revolves. So that makes it very, very tricky, unlike other sports. So at this point of time, it's good to see those younger nations coming through and competing, but it will still be a massive, massive job on their part. If they want to really compete with these big boys, they need to up their game a little bit.
Well, the quick update on the toss. India have chosen to bowl first. We spoke about Shami. No Jasprit Bumrah is away on daddy duties. Now, in the middle overs, we will see Ravindra Jadeja in action. DK, it would be unfair to look at some performances only by numbers. Should performances be looked at with the role in the right context? Ravindra Jadeja is an interesting one. His numbers may tell a certain kind of story. These are his numbers since the 2019 World Cup. Only 18 wickets in 22 matches. But look at that economy. Is his role in the middle overs to choke up one side, or should he be looked at as an attacking bowler?
If the average and strike rate are in reds, I think the economy should be in green, because that is a really good economy to have through the middle overs. We need to look at bowling partnerships. I think he is a very key component for Team India, because if he provides a day where he can keep the team under 4 or 4.2 economy, you will see wickets falling from Kuldeep for sure. There is no doubt about it. And with the likes of Shardul and Hardik, you will see them picking up more wickets. So I think Jadeja plays a role in a manner unselfishly, because if he has to choose between picking a wicket or keeping things tight, I think he'll go down the route of let me keep things tight because that is my role for the team, because the other end wickets will fall. You will also see him pick up wickets if there's a little bit of turn and bite. If we get to play on a pitch which is slightly damp, then you will see Jadeja pick some wickets. But on a flat deck, in most cases, he will play the holding role.
Spinners can also hunt in packs, isn't it? So Kuldeep from one end, Jadeja from the other, and it might just work well. That contrast might help India.
No, I think it does, and he's made the point. Basically, you're going to play in the middle overs, if you're coming to bowl in the middle overs in ODI cricket between that 10 and 40 overs, your job is to keep it tight. And let me tell you one thing, every captain loves Ravindra Jadeja for one more thing, which is that he finishes over in about 2.5 minutes, he finishes the over. He really tries to keep it as fast as possible, helps with the over rate a lot, so captains love him for that reason. But yes, that's his job. His job is not to attack.
Joy, it's become green joy.
Yep, they've done it finally.
Thank you.
They love it.
Right, let's take a look at the India 11 once again so that Dinesh Karthik and Joy Bhattacharjya can give us their insights on India's bowling plan. Remember, the top three of Nepal were out in very quick time against Shaheen Shah Afridi and Naseem Shah. So Mohammad Shami has come in. 6 bowling options. India couldn't bowl in that first game, DK. What are the boxes that India should look to take in this game?
2 big boxes. One is Mohammad Shami. 2 is Shardul Thakur. The rest of the bowlers, I think, have been doing well over a period of time. But these 2 bowlers have an opportunity here to do something good for themselves, because they're sure shots in the World Cup, and it only helped them in taking the confidence forward in this Asia Cup as well.
Shami Siraj bowling express straight away for the first 10 overs?
No doubt about it.
Would you try something else? Maybe an over of Kuldeep or Jadeja? Nothing?
No,
Never.
Right, we've got just enough time to give you today's Joy Factor question. Joy, please give us an easy one this time.
Yeah, it's
Sir,
an easy.
please.
It's somebody I'm sure DK knows very well. This cricketer made his test and ODI debut and played his final test and ODI all against the same team, South Africa. That means test debut, ODI debut, one-day debut, a one-day final match. And he played his last Ranji match almost 12 years after his last test and still scored a 50. That means absolute stalwart. Just identify him.
I was immediately thinking, I'm trying
I
to
think
think who all
he
retired.
knows it. I think he knows it. He's just being...
I should know it. I'm sure I've played with this person. It's just that who it is, I need to find out. Give me 5-10 minutes. Let me use my brain a little bit.
We'll give you 3.5 hours. No, in fact, we'll give 7 hours because the answer shall be revealed on our post-game show on Cricbuzz Live. Before we say bye, quick prediction. Nepal batting first.
I'm going to be hopeful and say 170.
190.
190. Okay. 120 for me. Nepal, 120 all out. I say this with a lot of respect for them. It is what it is. India are a very potent bowling attack. So 120, 190, 170. You can leave us your predictions as well on Twitter. And make sure you send in your entries for Joy Factor as well. That's it for now on Cricbuzz Live. Make sure you join us at the 15 over mark on Cricbuzz Combox. Enjoy the game.